So let me go to the client, go to screens, post link. All right, so we have this handle submit. At the moment we're not making requests, so let's make sure we make a request using Axios. Import Axios from Axios, and then we make a request here. Let me make this async. Okay, so try catch any error, console log the error. So what we want to do here is we want to try first, before we even try, let me just do some validation here. So if we don't have the link in the state, or if we don't have the title in the state, then if they if they press this button without link and the title, then we don't want to send the request to backend, because there's no point. We need to make sure we have them. So in that case, we can return with the alert, and we can say, please paste URL and give it a nice title, and we can smile as well by insert emoji if you have installed this plugin, which is pretty cool. Okay, so that's the one. Let's use that. Awesome. Okay, so if we don't have the link or title and they try to submit, we show this alert and return immediately, so none of this code executes. Otherwise, we can use Axios, which will give us the data. We destruct that, and to use Axios, we await Axios.post, make a post request to /create. All right, so because that's the URL endpoint in our routes, if you have named it something different, make sure to just change it accordingly here. Okay, so when you're making a post request, that's the endpoint, and we need to post something as well, right? So we need to post the data. So here, data we are posting, that is the link, title, and URL preview. All right, so that's all we're sending. Now, once we get the response, the newly created link, we need to put it in a state. So we need to create another context for links, so that all the links that are available globally. All right, so whenever we create, that time we can just update all the lists of the links, whatever we have in the context, we can just add one more, this one, right? So we need to create the link context as well. Now, before we do all that, let's quickly have a look at what happens here. So console log data. So let's see what we get here. All right, so we should get the newly created link. So let's have a look at that, and then in the next lecture we can go ahead, create link context, and then we can add this newly created post to the links array, which will be available for the entire application because we're using context. Okay, so let's make sure the server is running. I think we can just remove that console as well from. Okay, so we already did. Okay, so let's see how this function works. On handle submit, let me hit submit. Okay, so we're getting this. Undefined is not an object, and in the backend we have this 404 error. 404 means page not found. So API/create. Let's see what went wrong here in our backend route. Okay, so this route could be used in other files as well, because this is very generic. So let's actually change this. Let's give it a different name called post link. All right, so we can change this as well, post link. And let's not worry about all these routes for now, we'll come back to it later. So we'll implement one by one. So let me just remove that for now, just to make things clean and easy to understand. All right, so here post link, so we import this post link controller function from here, and then we just apply here. We just change the name, and we need to make sure we change the name in the controller. Remove all this, we'll come back to it later. Change this from create to post link. Okay, so that's much easier to understand. Okay, so we got this endpoint post link. So let's go to our client and make a request to this endpoint. So instead of just that create, we going to call it post link. All right, let's try one more time. Okay, so 44 not found. Okay, so I figured out the issue. The issue is we created this new routes file, but we haven't imported that in the index as well. So we need to make sure each routes, they are imported and applied as a middleware using this .use function to this Express app, right? So let's make sure we do that. Const link routes equals to require. Okay, so I'm actually waiting for this to pop up. Okay, so routes link, so we import from there, and then we apply this as a middleware just like we did here. Right, so let me copy that, paste here, and change this from auth routes to link routes. Perfect. Now we shouldn't get that 404 anymore. So let's give that a try. Okay, routes link is not found. Okay, so sorry, it should be just one dot. So we're just going, actually we're not going anywhere, we just, it's in the same directory, so inside the routes, so it's just one dot. Okay, okay, so we have got another error. Requires a callback function but got object. So that happens when there is something wrong with the import and export. So let's have a look. Route.post. So this is post link. We import from controllers link. Exports post link. So it is here. I guess everything looks good. Let me just restart the server. Okay, so route 202 link.js line 9 routes link. Okay, so that's a silly mistake. I knew something silly is going on. So what I did is I didn't use the require. So just like here you saw, we have to use require to load any files from anywhere in Node.js. So let's quickly fix that up. So let's wrap this in require. I've been used to the import and export just like we do in React app, so it's a little bit confusing, which shouldn't be to be honest. Anyway, so we have required these functions from these files, right? So now hopefully we have no errors. Actually we still have reference error. Object ID is not defined in the models link. Okay, so that should be easy to fix. Models link. All right, so we haven't destructured the object ID, so we can't directly use that. So let's see how we did in user. Okay, so actually we didn't do anything in the user. All right, so object ID, I think we can destructure from Mongoose. Okay, so yeah, that's right, we can destruct from Mongoose and then we can use here. Okay, let's try. There have been quite a lot of errors. Some of them are silly, but that's the part of the game, it happens. Let's see how it goes. Okay, so this time it looks great. It is 200, so 200 means status 200 means okay, so it's all good, and we have got the response. How good is that? So you can see this link has been saved in the database and we got this response, successful response. It has the unique ID created by Mongoose by default. We have the created date, likes empty at the moment. The link is codecontinue.com, posted by this user ID. Title updated, URL preview, everything is here, and the views is obviously 0 for the moment. Beautiful. So we have been able to successfully save the link in the database. Now there are a few more things to do here. So once we get the successful response, we want to push this link to the links array, because at the moment this is the very first link, but in application later obviously you will already have a global state where you will have maybe 10, 1500, whatever amount of links already. So in that case, when user finish creating this link, you will redirect him to home page. In the home page you will be displaying all the latest links, and in that list you will want to show this one as well, right? So when we create this link, we push this link to the links array in the global context, and that way when we redirect the user to home page, he will be able to see this link immediately in the list of all the links. Okay, so that means we need to create a context and push this link to the context links array, and then we redirect the user back to home page.